Paul Ryan is a friend. I meet with him every single week. We talk about policy. I think he'd be a great messenger. He'll come in front of our group and talk to us. I think our group would be favorable towards him. But we're not there yet. And our position right now is we know Daniel Webster. We know he's done this in Florida, where he took a model that was so controlled, top-down, centralized kind of power model. He diffused that kind of power and empowered the members. So I think that's the model we want. I think whoever the next speaker is, Paul Ryan or anyone else, has to go to that kind of model, because that's the environment that's going to be most conducive to producing the results we told the voters we were going to do, to fighting for those Republican principles that we were elected to fight.
All right, joining us now on this week after the big events in Washington with regard to the Speaker of the House, Tom Tancredo, former Congressman and 2008 Republican presidential candidate, I should say, Breitbart.com columnist and author of Immortal Danger. Also, Steve Leser joins us, host of Making Sense with Steve Leser and Democratic strategist. Okay, let me start with you, Congressman. To hear Jim Jordan, the chairman of the Freedom Coalition, say that, Paul Ryan would certainly most probably be acceptable as Speaker. Does that indicate to you that it will be Paul Ryan?
I hope not. Certainly he's not acceptable to me. Nobody has asked, but I'm just telling you, because, of course, the issue about which I care greatly, immigration, he's lousy. And he's consistently, the one thing I liked about him, and still do, is that he doesn't waver. He is consistently lousy on the issue of immigration, votes for amnesty every time he gets the chance, pushes it as far as he can. The one thing he's good on, of course, is tax cuts, tax reform. That's an advantage. He's not even that great, really, on lowering spending. He blew the caps off the 2013 spending bill, even when he had lobbied in 2011 to place them there. So I don't think he's all that great, but I know that they are seeking desperately for someone who has a smiley face and that will make everybody feel kind of good about the status of the Republican Party in the Congress of the United States.
And Stephen, a lot of people on the left, they paint this picture of a party in disarray. But isn't this democracy at work? All these congressmen were elected by hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of people, and a lot of them in a landslide takeover of the majority last November. So shouldn't they have their say?
It could have been seen that way. I mean, obviously it never looks good for a party when their own caucus throws out their speaker. Then we had, of course, McCarthy have to step down. So it really does look like it's a party in disarray. They need to get it together quickly. Otherwise, people are going to start asking the question, can these guys even, run their own party, let alone govern the country? They're supposed to be the legislature of the United States passing laws and a co-equal branch of government with President Obama. They don't really seem that way right now.
Well, it's funny you say President Obama. I want you gentlemen to hear, to me, the most embarrassing yet telling cut from the Steve Kroft 60 Minutes interview with President Obama. Let's watch this.
He's challenging your leadership, Mr. President. He's challenging your leadership.
Steve, I got to tell you, if you think that running your economy into the ground and having to send troops in order to prop up your only ally is leadership, then we've got a different definition of leadership. My definition of leadership would be leading on climate change and international accord that potentially will get.
Congressman, pathetic, narcissistic, embarrassing, weak, delusional. I mean, could you add anything to that?
No, I think runs the gamut. But this idea that the greatest threat to the world and to the security of the United States is climate change, that is nutty. And that's about all you can really say about it. And in reality, it's certainly what has happened in the Middle East. I'm not going to try to defend George Bush here, George W. I guarantee you. I mean, I think he kicked over a hornet's nest. But I'll tell you that subsequent to him, we have had anything but leadership there. Arab Spring has created a chaos that has, I think, led to the most horrible of conditions. The United States is essentially walking away from it, afraid to deal with it, or simply reluctant to because they want a different outcome.
Right. I think you hit on something right.
The Russians are coming in.
Yep, that's absolutely right. Stephen, last word?
I agree with Congressman Tancredo that George W. Bush kicked over a hornet's nest, but I'll tell you, if you think that Putin is in good shape leadership-wise by doing this, most of his country is against his
climate change, Stephen. Climate change is all he can come back with.
I would not have led with that. I would not have led with that. This is probably the worst interview of his presidency.
All right, good. Then we all agree on that at least. Listen, thank you both very much. I appreciate it, Congressman Tancredo and Steven Leser. Good discussion. All right, folks. So we're coming back with former White House Special Counsel to President Clinton, Lanny Davis. Was he the man who talked to Mr. Klein and told Hillary to lawyer up? We'll ask him.